welcome to the Sisters of the Shire Podcast. I am Abby, and with me today is my beautiful co-host Ashley, and you might hear a little person in the background, a little Lizzie, maybe, hopefully not, but she's a child that deserves to exist and talk, but hopefully she'll just be a little mouse in the background. Anyway,
yes.
This season, we are diving into the Unfinished Tales, a collection of stories and fragments and background details that expand on the events of the characters from the Silmarillion, The Hobbit, and The Lord of the Rings.
These are the deleted scenes that Tolkien had to cut from his larger works, but they do give us a deeper understanding of Middle-earth's history and lore, so it makes it really fun.
And if you've been listening for a while, thank you for hanging out and sticking with us. We're so happy that you're here. And if you're new, hello, welcome. But we do suggest starting from the very beginning of the season, or at least the very beginning of the whole podcast, to get the full picture.
So whether you are familiar with these stories or you're just discovering them for the first time, we are going to help break things down and keep things easy and simple to follow along with, and have some laughs along the way.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, let's get into the Unfinished Tales.
Let's go!
Let's go!
So, it's been a bit. We had two... I don't know how many outside of America know the term, like, we have a spring break with our schools, so like our children are off of school. It's like a common break in American schools to have a week off of school. My sister-in-law and her children have 2 weeks of spring break.
What?
Which I'm like, that's not fair.
That's a thing?
Yeah, I know. So we didn't get to record last week because I was on spring break with my children. Ashley and Lizzie don't have spring break. They have spring break next week. Woo!
Mm-hmm.
But we have deemed our spring break, the Bowden spring break, as the nickname is the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh no.
That was our spring break. So we went to Utah because we have family in Utah. And we drove in Saturday, and we got there like at midnight. And like on the drive up there, Oakley, I thought he got car sick because he was like, my stomach really hurts. And I was like, okay. And so because our other kids get super car sick, I was like, oh, we got another one. Just add him to the pile of kids that get car sick. But he was like so good about it. I like gave him a Ziploc bag and he totally did not make any mess. It was awesome.
Nice.
I did have to hold a bag of puke for a few miles, but that's okay. So he did that, and he only did it like once, and we're like, okay, he's fine. I think he just got car sick because he was coloring in the car, and I was like, oh, you would probably totally get car sick. Yeah. And so we get there like super late, like super duper late, probably like midnight or something. And the kids don't really get to bed until almost like 1 o'clock. And we were going to, and then the next morning I wake up, and when we go stay at my husband's parents' house, there's like a finished basement. And so like all the like there's like bedrooms downstairs. And so like I walked out of the bedroom I was in, and I was like, man, it smells really weird down here. But it's also a finished basement. So I'm like, it's a basement. Something, I don't know, maybe something smells. Plus, it's like they have just a different water system in there where they live. So, like, it doesn't...
Well, it's not your house, too.
The plumbing isn't great. Anyway. So, like, all morning, I was like, man, something really weird. It just smells weird down here. And so we like go do things with our family for a couple hours, and then it's time for my son to go take a nap. And I take him downstairs to go take a nap in his bed, and I go to put him in his bed, and his bed is completely covered in throw up, like dry throw up that I didn't notice because like he got out of bed on his own and like just went upstairs to go see grandma and grandpa, but that's what I was smelling. So I wasn't going crazy.
Poor
And I was like,
thing.
oh
And he didn't like get
no.
it on himself or anything? That's actually
Oh,
pretty
I
impressive.
told my husband, I texted him because I was downstairs, he was upstairs. And I was like, oh my gosh, his bed is covered in throw up. And then my husband goes, texts back, and he goes, dot, dot, dot. He came into the bed early this morning and snuggled with me for like 30 minutes. And then I went upstairs and he asked to take a shower, and I was so deliriously tired that I was like, sure. And I put him in the shower. Was he covered in throw up the whole time I was cuddling him? And I was like, probably.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't get any more sick after that, but I was like, okay, that's probably not car sickness. If he did that, in the middle of the night. Super sad mom moment that I didn't hear him. I guess he was crying because my father-in-law from upstairs heard him sobbing in the middle of the night. So I was like, okay, mom points for me.
Mm-hmm.
Then that night, Sunday night, Luna's like, I don't feel good. And I was like, oh no. And then she was so sick the whole rest of the week.
Oh no.
3 days of being stuck in the bathroom. She sounds like she has pneumonia now. She has the worst cough you've ever heard. And I'm like, what is this? What is this sickness? And so that started the first day of our trip. And I was like, cool. And then on our second or third day of our trip, I was like, I like to make dinner while we're at my in-laws' house, just as hey, thanks for letting us stay here.
Yeah.
So I made this really big dinner, and I was slicing the what was I almost said accessories, slicing things that you would use when you do tacos, cilantro and toppings, the toppings you would put on things. So I was slicing up limes.
They're kind of accessories. I like it.
Yeah, food accessories. I was slicing up limes for the dinner we were doing as just to put on a plate. Then that was the finishing touch for the rest of my dinner. Everything else was cooked, and I had a giant big kitchen knife, super sharp, and I cut the lime in half. And then I grabbed the half, and I was going to cut it in half again, but it was a really juicy lime, and I squeezed it, and it slipped out of my fingers, and my fingers took the place of where the lime was when I was cutting it with the really big kitchen knife.
This is why I don't cook, y'all.
Yeah, and I just went crunch, and I totally just sliced through both of my fingers, and I pick up my hand, and it's immediately I'm cupping so much internal fluid that should be in my body. I'm trying to make it less queasy and censored for our family listeners. The thing that should be inside my body, the liquid that should be inside my body, was now outside of my body, and there was a lot of it, and I was holding it in my hand. And so I run to my mother-in-law, who was helping my daughter, who was very ill, in the bedroom at the exact same time. And she's trying to take care of my daughter, wiping her forehead, helping her, and all this stuff. And then I run into the room. I'm like, I think I did something bad. She's looks at me, looks at my hand, looks at my daughter. She's ah. And I was back and forth. I'm like, oh my gosh. And so there was a lot of bodily fluids happening, just everywhere. And so I was like, okay, I need to go to the hospital, but I don't know how long we're gonna be at the hospital, and I made a really good dinner, so I'm gonna eat dinner first. And so we had family dinner with everybody, and I'm holding my hand in a towel above my head while I'm eating dinner.
Okay.
And so
we can cut this out, but were the fingers off or just punctured?
It was I filleted my finger.
Okay. Sorry, I need to know the details because it's me.
It's it was I filleted it. So I
Okay.
Anyway, so, and then my sweet mother-in-law took me to the hospital, and I got 3 bright blue stitches. And my poor daughter, who was so sick, and she was like yarfing while this was happening. I was freaking out. She was freaking out. She was like, "Did you cut your finger off?" And she's like crying while being sick at the same time. And I'm like, "No, I didn't." We had to use a lot of bleach in that house this trip.
Oh, man.
And
Isn't your father-in-law immunocompromised too?
yes. And so, yeah, but it was beautiful. The sun was shining the whole trip. It was like 75 degrees the whole time we were there. It was a great trip. Like I said, it was the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Great way to explain
So
it.
that was my wonderful family spring vacation with my beautiful children and husband.
And
a lot of other really fun, good things. A lot of other fun, good things happened. But that's that. I just wanted to share that story just so we have it on record somewhere. What happened?
Yes, I
Hopefully
feel like you have an out.
spring break. Hopefully your spring break will not be as eventful as mine.
Hopefully not, because I'm gonna be single mom in it, and so that's a yeah. I'm literally gonna borrow my nephew. I'm like, you are now my nanny.
Yeah. But anyway, okay. Well, let's get into Tolkien.
Let's get into Tolkien.
Wait a minute. Let's say that, like, who has it worse than I did my spring break? Let's see. Someone has in the world of Tolkien probably had it a lot worse than me in this upcoming story, right?
Well,
right.
I mean, we are gonna recap the whole like Beleg dying thing. So I mean, there's that.
No.
There was a sword and being nicked involved as well. So
I didn't get stabbed in the tummy. So
and you didn't, your best friend didn't kill you. So yeah, there is that.
My right hand did betray my left hand. So
It did.
My left hand's best friend betrayed it.
Well, I'm like, and there were happy waters. Did you get any good drugs?
No, but I was cutting limes when I cut my finger, so
I don't know.
That was very...
You got the food after. You could eat.
I did get to eat a good dinner before I left.
Okay. And then did you sing a song afterwards to, like, help you process that grief?
How about, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing is gonna be all right. How about that?
I like it. Perfect. I'm pretty sure that is exactly what Turin sang at the
he's like singing it to himself, like holding belling. He's like, and every little thing is gonna be all right. And then the other guy that's standing in the background that saw him kill Beleg's like, no, it's not, man. You just murdered your friend, dude.
Mm-hmm. So that friend, Gwindor, he does manage to help Turin get through the grieving process a little, guides him back to Nargothrond, his hometown, and Gwindor is recognized because that's where he used to live. And Turin introduces himself as Agarwine, the Bloodstained, because he has to have an emo nickname. He quickly gains...
say it like the Bloodstained.
Yeah.
And then he like
Agarwine.
He moves his dark hair over his eyes so you can't see.
I like it. So he actually gains influence and is well liked, and in so much that his elf upbringing really shines through, so much that he gets a new nickname of Adonithel, which is Elfman. And then he is kind of invited into the war council, as it will, And he has got some big ideas for Nargothrond. He's like, we should be aggressive and we should build a giant bridge. And Gwindor's like, no, we don't do that. And everyone's like, shut up, Gwindor. And Turin rocks, Turin rocks. And then Gwindor's kind of like, oh. And that's pretty much where we left things.
No, don't make me feel bad for that guy.
Yeah. Oh, it's good. That is where we will be starting our episode this week, actually. Let's feel more bad for because this week we are going to learn more about the awkward love triangle between Turin, Gwindor, and Finduilas.
Oh, man.
So we get a little of a drama, a soap opera episode this week, if you will.
A love triangle. It's more like a love linear line, I would say.
It really is, yeah. Because Turin's like, huh? What are girls?
And also, but like, if it was a love triangle, one of the sides of the triangle isn't necessarily romantic love, but it's like, hey, you're my friend, right? And he's like, yeah, like that kind of situation.
Right. So just as a reminder, in case you forgot, Finduilas and Gwindor did have some undefined attachment before he went to war. It doesn't go into detail as to what that was in the Silmarillion or the Unfinished Tales. However, the internet says other sources say they were engaged before they went to war, but I don't have that.
If it's anything like Pride and Prejudice kind of situation, like they looked longingly at each other, and that was like the extent of their
yes, I like it
situation.
So now that Gwindor has come back, I wouldn't say the engagement's back on, but there is at least a friendship happening. It's not quite dead, but they're amicable to each other. And that's because Gwindor has been through a lot. He's definitely traumatized. He's got some PTSD happening. But also because this Turin guy is definitely catching Finduilas' eye. She's like, oh, dark and handsome.
He can grow a beard. Oh.
Ooh. So in the Silmarillion version of things, it just kind of briefly says Finduilas fell for Turin, quote, against her will. But as Turin didn't return her feelings, she became really sad. And that is when Gwindor tried shooting his shot, basically telling her that, Turin's not the guy for you. He's really cursed, and like everything around anyone that he touches basically dies, and, bad things happen. And he kind of accidentally in that reveals the secret of Turin's name and his identity. For the record, I know, I don't think he did this out of spite for Turin. I honestly just think he's trying to protect Finduilas. It's not like I'm gonna expose this secret to gain the upper hand to win her. It's more like, I don't want you getting hurt, Finduilas. Because it really didn't sound like Turin noticed her in the Silmarillion version. There's not a lot of interaction. It's just
typical.
Like, yeah. It's just like a, hi, my name's Turin. She's like, oh, I love him.
He's so beautiful.
Yeah. So in the Unfinished Tales version, though, things are quite a bit different. Because Turin actually did notice Finduilas and, quote, began to take pleasure in the sight of her and in her company, for she reminded him of his kindred and the women of Dorloman in his father's house. So this comparison was curious to me at first. That's what I said. So this comparison to the women of Dorloman was actually kind of curious to me at first, because Finduilas is known as, the golden-haired, beautiful elf maiden. And then, like, comparing anyone related to Turin, who we always picture as, like, dark-haired, brooding, like, that doesn't quite add up in my brain. But if you remember, Turin's mother is where he got the darkness from, and it was his father's side of Dorloman that had the gold hair, like the Viking House of Hador stuff, like his cousin Tur.
Rohan.
Yeah. So that
didn't her sister have blonde hair, and wasn't she like?
Yes.
Oh.
That's going to come up in a minute. So,
Oh.
yeah. So at first, Turin would only talk to Finduilas if Gwindor was around. It seems like a propriety thing. Like, oh, I haven't been properly introduced. It would not be seemly for me to talk to her since I am not, of her acquaintance.
We don't have a chaperone.
Yes. But then Turin just would happen to bump into her, like at other times alone. Though it
She planned
seemed to
that.
be but chance. She totally planned that.
She
This
planned
is why it is a soap opera. Uh,
that.
and when these chance meetings would occur, Finduilas would ask him questions, and she'd be like, "So, what are the Edain like? What are you menfolk like?" Because she hadn't really met any menfolk before Turin. Um, and she asks him about, where are you from, and what's your family like, and have you ever thought of having children? What do you look for in a woman?
Yeah.
Just your usual questions.
Do you like blondes? Or I could change it. I could change this.
Yeah. So Turin, likes talking to her. He gives her, some replies, but he doesn't give any specific things about his exact land where he's from or the names of his family members because, he's trying to keep his identity a secret. But he does make one exception. And this is what you brought up earlier. He says, quote, "I had a sister, Lalaith, or so I named her, and of her you put me in mind. But Lalaith was a child, a yellow flower in the green grass of spring. And had she lived, she would now maybe have become dimmed with grief. But you are queenly, and as a golden tree. I would I had a sister so fair."
Oh no. He pulled out the sister card.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just imagine this as in a modern day dating scenario where you get this text from a guy, and this is you and me analyzing the heck out of it. Okay, so reminder of his sister. Is that a good thing? I think it's a good thing. I mean, at least he's
She
liking
said
it, right?
she was cute and pretty.
Yeah. And he said, okay, he says right here, "Oh, you are queenly. Oh, that's got to be a good thing." But what is this? What does he mean? A tree? I'm like, a tree? But his sister's a flower? I'm not sure. Is this tree better than a flower?
Yeah.
But then, he does call me fair, but also a sister. Can we lead into the sister thing? Maybe he's into that? I don't know.
I can see, okay, think of it as a movie montage, and she's saying this in her head. You see her reading this letter, right? It's like a letter.
Yeah.
Like a text is a
Okay.
letter, right? And she's reading it, and then she's like, "Oh," and then it zooms in on the
Sister.
sister. She's like,
Yeah.
"Ah, no." And she does the Disney princess thing where she flails her body on the bed and she starts crying
Yes.
"Ah, he thinks I'm a sister." Been there, girl. Been there.
Yeah. Friend zoned, but sister zoned. So the way she responds, though, I feel like she's very skilled at the art of flirting for being a girl that is in a kind of remote kingdom. Okay, so she responds, quote, "But you are kingly, even as the lords of the people of Fingolfin. I would I had a brother so valiant."
Okay, she's playing into it a little weird, brother sister situation.
That's what I said.
Wouldn't have kept that going.
Definitely leaning into the brother sister thing. It's a little weird, but then it gets a little
Maybe I can
even.
get in that way. Maybe that's the door.
That's my in. That's my in. So it gets a little weirder. She continues, quote, "I do not think Agarwine, remember that's bloodstained, is your true name, nor is it fit for you. Adanathel," Adanathel is what also he was nicknamed by the Nargothrond people, the elf man. She says, "I call you Thurin the Secret."
Turin.
Yes. And of course, it makes him kind of do a double take because it's really close to his real name. But funny enough, he's like, "Wait, what?" So Turin is Sindarin for he who desires mastery, and Thurin is Sindarin for secret. So it's just a coincidence that it happens to be very close to his real name.
He's like, what the? Yeah, that's me, Turin.
He says, quote, "That is not my name, and I am not a king, for our kings are of the Eldar, as I am not."
So she's an elf, right? Who he's talking
Yes.
to?
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, for some reason in my brain, when he's, like, so grumpy at, like, Bellig and King, what's his name? Thingol and all this stuff, that I would think, like, oh, he just doesn't want anything to do with elves at all. But I guess, like, he's cool with them? Like, he's cool with just hanging out with them?
I guess.
His dad did talk them up a bunch when he was younger.
Yeah. And I do think it's interesting. I didn't really think of this until this little line here, that the men that are considered like the leaders of their area, so like his dad is the Lord of Dorloman. He's not the king of Dorloman. Only the elves are king, like King Thingol, King Orodreth. So I never put that together before.
When does it start getting kings, like King Theoden and King?
That's what I was thinking. I think it's when the Dunedain, the Numenor stuff comes back.
Yeah, but is King Theoden Dunedain?
No, I meant that like time period.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so now that this awkward encounter with Finduilas is over, Turin starts to notice that his friendship with Gwindor seems a little off, and that Gwindor has grown, quote, cooler towards him.
Ooh, giving him the cold shoulder.
Uh-huh. And this is confusing to Turin because upon his arrival in Nargothrond, he thought that Gwindor was getting better, quote, that the woe and horror of Angband had begun to be lifted from him. Now he seemed to slip back into care and sorrow.
Poor guy.
So, yeah. But Turin thinks, like, oh, I know what this is. It's because, we've been having these political discussions. We aren't really on the same page. We have different opinions, and he's feeling, left out.
Pineapple should go on pizza. And he thinks that it shouldn't. And we just can't see eye to eye on that one.
Uh-huh. And it's just making him so sad.
Yeah.
I just wish we could come together and maybe do half pineapple on pizza and half not. And just like all get along.
And not fight every Friday pizza night, Yeah. I just want that for us.
And there's not a lot of details about the relationship between Turin and Gwindor in the Silmarillion, but here in the Unfinished Tales, it's described as, quote, Turin, quote, loved Gwindor as his guide and healer and was filled with pity for him.
Oh.
So I'd say that's a friend.
Yeah, but like filled with pity for him? That sounds kind of like in the moment, or has he always pitied him?
I think he always pitied him.
Friendship.
Yeah. So something is wrong with Gwindor. Turin doesn't know exactly why, but he thinks it has to do something with their differing opinions on about Nargothrond. And he also notices that, something is wrong with Finduilas too. And he's like, man, it's just everywhere. Because, quote, the radiance of Finduilas also became dimmed, her footsteps slow and her face grave.
And he never tried to put two and two together?
Nope. And yeah, he does not have the social skills or the emotional maturity for the situation, because he thinks that the reason Finduilas is sad is because of what Gwindor had said during the political debate that they were kind of having in the Nargothrond Council. And that Gwindor had somehow made her scared about the future, which doesn't really make sense to me, since Turin was the one that was like, we should take action, we should die fighting. And Gwindor was like, hey, let's wait this out, let's be patient. So I'm not sure what Gwindor was saying that would be scary, but that's what he thinks.
Interesting.
But as we all know, and if your dude hasn't figured this out, she's not sad because of that. She's sad because she is torn between these two guys, obviously. She likes Gwindor and feels pity for all the things he went through, quote, and wished not to add one tear to his suffering.
Oh gosh, everybody's pitying him.
Mm-hmm.
Is he okay?
But she feels guilty because for some unknown reason, I mean, really, what does she see in him? She has fallen for Turin. And she has somehow idealized their relationship, and she's like comparing it to Baron and Luthien in her brain because I guess they're like
She's got posters of him. Oh my gosh. When he has posters of him, like the show, like the bow and the helm or whatever, and it's like big posters of him on her wall, and she's like she has a huge crush like shrine for him.
I love that. But then on the other hand, she's like, you know what? But Turin is not exactly like Baron because Turin, he's nice to me. He seems to like having me around. He hasn't flat out rejected me, but it's obvious he doesn't love me the same as I love him. So at least she's not delusional. Okay, I'll give her that.
Mm-hmm.
Quote, his mind and heart were elsewhere by rivers and springs long past. That's one way to say it, I guess. So Turin, in his wisdom, because, he understands women so well, goes, he's going to try and fix this. And he's going to go to Finduilas and he's trying to try and make her feel better, saying, quote, do not let the words of Gwindor affright you. He has suffered in the darkness of Angband, and it is hard for one so valiant to be thus crippled and backward perforce. He needs all solace and a longer time for healing.
So, I mean, she seems like a nice person. She's like trying to make it like okay. Like,
yeah.
She's trying to be like, hey, like, look, can we all just be friends and happy? Like, but also, like, I don't know. She's trying to be nice. I'm not gonna say that she's like a crazy fangirl, like crushing on every new boy that comes into town, but she kind of did.
She kind of did.
But she will give her some knowledge of like she is an intelligent person that's like trying to be nice to everybody.
Yeah. I just love how I think Turin is still thinking that she's in love with Gwindor, and Gwindor is like really sad lately, and she's like, he just needs more time. You guys will be together soon. It's okay. Like, he just needs some time to get through his things, and I'm sure you guys will be like sunshine and rainbows in no time.
Yeah. He's like, wait, this is my fault? I thought it was your fault.
And all I can imagine yeah. And all I can imagine is Finduilas just like rolling her eyes, and she says, quote, I know it well. Like, you are not even close, but sure, I know that Gwindor needs time to heal. Of course he does. Sure, yeah. That's totally the problem.
Yeah, I think like the what is it? Turin is saying like that totally oblivious boy thing that's like
right.
He's not getting it, but he's being nice to her, which is fueling the fire.
Yes.
Of her liking him. But she's being really nice and being like, I know, like, it's okay. Like, she's, like I said before, I'm giving her the credit of her being a nice person and she's smart and everything like that. But it's very high school, like, very high school, what is it called? Love triangle, in the sense of like, he is so oblivious, it makes me laugh. But he's like, this isn't my fault. Like, this isn't anything to do with me. And then she's like,
I'll fix it. I'll fix it all for everyone. I'll fix it.
She's like, but, like, she just like, slaps him across the face. Like, don't you get it?
Well, speaking of the high school, the high school aspect of things, he kind of turns into like, I just can't help but think of like the high school like football quarterback or something like that. He turns into this like pep rally speech because he wants
Yeah.
to fix this problem as only a one-track guy, mind guy can. And he says, quote, "But we will win that time for him. Nargothrond shall stand. Never again will Morgoth the Craven come forth from Angband, and all his reliance must be on his servants. Thus says Melian of Doriath. They are the fingers of his hands, and we will smith them and cut them off till he draws back his claws. Nargothrond shall stand."
Okay. I love that it came out of nowhere, but can you imagine like a movie scene where he's like trying to comfort her and she's like, oh, like she's all sad. She's like, it's okay, like blah blah blah. And she's like he'll come around and all that stuff. And she's like, oh thanks. And then he like stands up really fast and then he's like, and then Morgoth won't come. And she's like in behind him and she's like kind of looking around him like, wait, where you go? Who are you talking to? Like she's like,
Yes.
he's like talking off to like the looking off into the distance, like just like walking, just like, hello, like, wait, what are we talking about?
It's
I
so
thought
true. It's like, so we're gonna kick that other team's butt, and we are going to state. Like,
yeah, she's like, I was crying over a boy, like what's happening?
yeah.
But she still loves him.
Uh,
Typical.
I know. Like she's smart, but she's also like so dumb.
Yeah, so dumb.
So it is true. Morgoth probably won't come out of Angband again. Once, was it Fingolfin that stubbed his toe? It poked his toe, and he got a boo boo on his toe, and doesn't ever want to come out again. But he's proven since then he doesn't need to come out in order to kick everyone's butts. The freaking War of Battle of Unnumbered Tears proved that he didn't leave, and still everyone died. So not really a good point there. Plus, why mention Melian? Like, it's a really hidden kingdom that only 2 men have ever visited. So why make it so obvious that he knows who Melian is?
He's like, shouldn't everybody know who she is?
Yeah. Well, instead of Finduilas being like, dude, you were totally missing the point, or being like, oh, tell me more how you're going to kick, Morgoth's butt. Instead, she says, quote, "Perhaps it shall stand if you can achieve it, but have a care, Adonethel. My heart is heavy when you go out to battle, lest Nargothrond be bereaved." So, like, she's saying, don't go off to battle because what are we going to do in Nargothrond if you're gone? Oh, no. My heart is heavy when you go out to battle. Oh, no.
I've known you for 5 days. Oh, no.
Like, I feel like she was trying to give him a hint here, but that is literally the end of the conversation.
No. She's like, he sits back down. She gets close. She's like, you're right. He won't come out to battle, but I'd be so sad if you left for battle again. And she's like coming close, like closing her eyes like she's gonna kiss him. He stands up again. He's like, but Morgoth will not be like it. She comes out. She's like, oh, come
on. Honestly, we recently just rewatched all the Lord of the Rings for my birthday. It took us a while because, bedtimes and such, but it's giving off the Eowyn vibes when she's pining after Aragorn.
Oh, sad. But Aragorn was
do you
nice
not
about
know?
it.
He was nice about it, and he knew.
But he also was aloof a little bit. Like he was trying to be like,
he let her on
silly.
A little bit, yeah. But the whole like, do you not know?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So I can totally see Turin being like, yep, solved that problem. She's all better now. Now gotta go cheer up my buddy Gwindor. And he's just like,
checklist. Like, check. Did that. Crushed it.
So then he goes up to Gwindor and he says, quote, "Gwindor, dear friend, you are falling back into sadness. Do not so." Okay, I have to pause here just because I love that. Yeah. Telling any depressed person, do not so.
You stop that right now.
Okay, continuing. For your healing will come in the houses of your kin and in the light of Finduilas. Like, don't be sad. You've got your friends and your family here, and you got, Finduilas here. I know you guys love each other. You guys are going to be together. You're going to be happy. And then, I love this so much. Gwindor responds in the only way that makes sense to me. Like, there is no other response other than what he just does. He says, Gwindor stared at Turin, but he said nothing. His face was clouded. Deadpan. Like, all that is missing here is like a hashtag heavy sigh. Like,
no, like, my version is like
facepalm.
Turin is telling these things like, I fixed it. I went and talked to her, and blah blah blah, and everything's gonna be okay. You can stop being sad. And then like he's standing there with his hands on his hips, like, aren't you proud of me? And then like Gwindor just like tackles him, like, ah! Like, you're not getting it. I'm gonna kill you.
I mean, okay, but let's go through that sentence. So, your healing will come in the houses of your kin. Okay. So far since Turin has been there, he has made himself at home. So he's essentially, and I'm sure he's like more liked than Gwindor is, just because he's got even a nickname. He's the elf man. So he's already kind of turned the houses of his kin against him. Also, like the political council, everyone hates him now too, and they all like Turin, so he's kind of taken that away from him as well. And then Gwindor knows that Finduilas likes Turin, and he's like, and you took that away from me too. All of those things that you said would come from the healing, they're all yours now. So how am I going to heal?
That's when he tackles him. That's when it wants to happen.
But Turin just continues on this oblivious journey that he's on, and he says, quote, why do you look upon me so? Often your eyes have gazed strangely at me of late. How have I grieved you? I have opposed your counsels, but a man must speak as he sees, nor hide the truth that he believes for any private cause. I would that we were in one mind, for to you I owe a great debt, and I shall not forget it.
Turin is so oblivious, it's hilarious. Like, he's like, what did I do wrong?
What did I do? What did I say?
I just went and talked to the girl that you like privately and made her understand how brave I am and handsome I am. Isn't that what you wanted?
Mm-hmm. So after everything Gwindor has done to help Turin so far, Gwindor finally lets him have it. He can do what Finduilas apparently cannot. And he says, quote, will you not forget that you owe me? Nonetheless, your deeds and your counsels have changed my home and my kin. Your shadow lies upon them. Why should I be glad who have lost all to you?
Ooh.
Like, oh, so you do remember owing me one? Well, how have you repaid me so far, buddy? Because from where I'm standing, you took my king, you took my job, you took my home, and you took my girl. Like,
and our pets.
And my dog. And our pets are fun. But, of course, in true Turin fashion, he literally doesn't understand still. Quote, Gwindor begrudged him his place in the heart and councils of the king. That's why he's mad right now. It's because I took his spot with the king. Like, really, Turin? That's like 1/10 of the problem.
Yeah. I took his favorite spot to sit at dinner. I knew it.
It's like Cyrus all over again. So, knowing that Gwindor just told Turin that, and then the event of Gwindor talking to Finduilas about how Turin isn't a good guy, it definitely comes off more bitter in this version. Because, after this happens, this is when Gwindor tells her, by the way, that's Turin, a son of Hurin. He's cursed. He's a man, mortal. You shouldn't be with him. So knowing that timeline and that conversation, it definitely comes off more bitter.
Yeah,
in this version, which is
Tolkien really had to get all his feelings out. He's like, I didn't I didn't get all my feelings out on this Silmarillion version. I'm gonna get all the like juicy gossip, like that feeling out.
Yeah.
In this version.
So, in the Silmarillion, all Finduilas replies after, the revelation that, this is Turin, son of Hurin, you shouldn't be with him. He's bad news. All she says is, quote, Turin, son of Hurin, loves me not, nor will. And then she does the Disney princess bed, crying thing.
Falling into bed crying.
Yeah. But in this Unfinished Tales version, we get a different ending to the conversation. Instead, she says, quote, your eyes are dimmed, Gwindor. You do not see or understand what is here come to pass. Must I now be put to double shame to reveal the truth to you? For I love you, Gwindor, and I am ashamed that I love you not more, but have taken a love even greater from which I cannot escape. I did not seek it, and long I put it aside, but I have pity for your hurts. Have pity on mine. Turin loves me not, nor will.
Oh my gosh. Good acting, Ashley. Good acting.
Thank you. You just don't get it, Gwindor. I love him. I know it's wrong. I can't help it. I just had to keep accidentally running into him in those halls. I feel sorry for you and all. I think I'm the one worse off here because Turin won't ever love me. Feel pity for me.
She likes the bad boys. What can she say?
Yeah.
She likes them covered in scars and unshowered and trauma. The trauma.
But what's funny is Gwindor is the wrong kind of... He's not a bad boy, but he's covered in scars, got the trauma. He just wears it a little differently.
He's still too pretty, maybe. Maybe he's like, no, it said in the book he was all like
old,
disheveled,
basically
and
like
old looking because of all the torture or whatever.
Yeah. So Gwindor still loves Finduilas enough to not let her take the blame. He knows it takes two to tango, as he says, quote, you say this to take the blame from him whom you love. Why does he seek you out and sit long with you and come ever more glad away? Like, it's not all your fault. He seeks you out and he, sits with you and he laughs and he smiles. Maybe he's leading you on, Finduilas. It's not your fault. It's his. Yeah.
I can do it.
So she replied, oh, go ahead.
What I was going to say was he's so more emotionally intelligent.
Yeah.
And he's the one who got
Finduilas or Turin, really. Yeah. So Finduilas replies, quote, because he also needs solace and is bereaved of his kin. You both have your needs, but what of Finduilas? Now is not enough that I must confess myself to you unloved, but that you should say that I speak so to deceive? He is broken and I can fix him. He's had a rough life. As she looks at the man who literally was tortured and enslaved for years in Angband. But what about me? Living free and safe in Nargothrond all these years, growing more beautiful by the day, all just to be spurned by a mortal man. You tell me who has it worse, Gwindor. This is the worst day of my life.
And then she runs and falls on her bed again. And he's like, you can't keep doing that. You have to solve your problems.
Gwindor doesn't know how to respond. I want him to say something along the lines of like, girl, you don't know what a bad day is. Like, girl, like this problem is like minimal on the case of like, this is like an average Tuesday for me. This part has me confused a little. So listen carefully as I read this because I was very confused. Quote, nay, a woman is not easily deceived in such a case, nor will you find many who will deny that they are loved, if that is true.
What? Wait.
Yeah.
Say it again?
So she was saying at the end, now is it not enough that I must confess myself to you unloved? So like, is it it's hard enough to say that he doesn't love me back, but that you should say that I speak so to deceive, which confused me too.
Okay.
And then he says, like, no, a woman is not easily deceived in such a case, nor will you find many who will deny that they are loved, if that is true. So, like, if you were deceived, like, he's saying that Turin didn't trick or lie to get her to fall for him, because anyone who would admit that wouldn't say that that person doesn't love them back, I think.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
You're not delusional, basically. Like, it's one thing to admit that he doesn't love you, but I don't think you would also say that he tricked you.
Yeah, like, you're trying to make yourself feel better to say that he did, but
yeah,
probably not.
But not said. That part really confused me. If someone else has a different conclusion to that sentence, I would love to know, because I puzzled for a good 10 minutes about that. So Finduilas continues to confuse me as she says, quote, if any of us three be faithless, it is I, but not in will. But what of your doom and rumors of Angband? What of death and destruction? The Adenethel, which is Turin, is mighty in the tale of the world, and his stature shall reach yet to Morgoth and some far day to come. Also, again, so confused here. So, and if any of the three of them be faithless, like, is she talking about, like, the hope of them, like, winning the war against Morgoth? Faithless, like, but it's, like, against her will? Did she just completely change gears here and is now talking about the war against Morgoth? I'm so confused.
She's pulling a Turin.
Yeah. And she's basically saying that, yeah, Turin is mighty in the tale of the world. Like, he's got a good future. His stature shall reach yet to Morgoth. Like, he's going to fight Morgoth one day. It's just, yeah, very confusing what was happening there. And then Gwindor replies, quote, he, referring to Turin, is proud. Yeah, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Yeah. And then further to complicate things, Finduilas says, but he, Turin, is merciful. He is not yet awake, but still pity can ever pierce his heart, and he will never deny it. Pity maybe shall be ever the only entry, but he does not pity me. He holds me in awe, as were I both his mother and a queen. Okay, so let's break this down. So, like, yes, Turin may be proud, but at least he's merciful and is capable of feeling pity. Like, he acts tough, but he's got a heart. He is not yet awake. Like, he's not aware of that fact about himself, or...
Yeah.
And then
he's trying to deny he has a heart.
Yeah. Pity shall ever be the only entry. Like, pity's the only way for him to notice me. Like, if he pitied me, then maybe he would notice me.
Sad.
Yeah.
Girl, you better than that.
Yeah. He holds me in awe, as were I both his mother and a queen. So, like, he doesn't see me as a love interest. He is a man, and you are an elf. I don't think Turin even sees her as a possibility, to be honest. So, but she, like, got it in her head that, yeah, that could happen.
I mean, she's, what's it called? Lowering her standards here. Like, if she's an elf.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to lower your standards for a Baron, because Baron is freaking the best. But for a Turin, I would lower my standards for a tour, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is the end of the very confusing conversation between Finduilas and Gwindor. And then we get one more conversation between Turin and Finduilas. So, knowing she has been so sad lately, but not having any clue as to the actual reason why, he's just been generally nicer to her, which I'm sure isn't confusing for her at all. But one day, Finduilas says, Thurin, not Turin, Thurin, her name for him, Adenethel, why did you hide your name from me? Had I known who you were, I should not have honored you less, but I should better have understood your grief.
I could have helped you.
Yeah. So Turin, not knowing that Gwindor told her the truth of his name, replies, quote, "What do you mean? Whom do you make me?" What do you mean? What's my name? What do you think my true name is?
What was I gonna say? So is the reason why he's hiding his name is just because he doesn't want like special treatment or people like, or he doesn't want like people to know the things he's done?
I mean, that's a good point. Before, in like when he was an outlaw, in my head it was like, yeah, he doesn't want to be treated with special treatment because in the outlaw life, like that's putting a target on your back. But here, yeah, why bother hiding his name? Yeah, hard to say. Other than Hurin pissing off Morgoth more so that Turin would automatically be a bigger target. So he would then, any place he goes, that it'd be like a big target. So people would get damaged in the process, which of course is going to happen. But yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think. So Finduilas says to, like, who am I? Who do you think I am? She says, Turin, son of Hurin Thalion, captain of the North.
Bum, bum, bum.
And that is literally the end of the conversation. I'm like, why bother having that conversation?
It's like an episode where he gets his name revealed, and then the credits are like, "Dong!"
Yeah,
and you're like, "That's what happened."
Yeah. And then it just goes to one of those notes saying, see the Silmarillion version of Turin getting mad at Gwindor for telling Finduilas his real name.
I'm overwriting this.
Yes. And that's actually where I'm going to leave you today.
Oh, so much drama.
I know.
The real housewives of Nargothrond.
Yeah. Goodness gracious.
No, it's like Dawson's Creek or something. So
yeah, I'm like, not housewives. One Tree Nargothrond.
Golden Tree Hill.
One Tree Hall. One Tree Hall.
Yeah.
Golden Tree Hall. I think we got it right there. Okay, so feel free to follow us on Instagram at Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Feel free to comment, send us things. We try and respond to everything, so don't be shy. Big thank you to our patrons. But be nice. Always be nice. Big thank you to our patrons, Dan, Tom, and Kevin. Your support keeps us going, and we are forever grateful. If you'd like
Kevin is still here after our song.
Yes, I know he stayed.
He lasted.
He lasted.
Hooray!
Hooray! If you'd like to support the podcast and become a part of the fellowship, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Just a reminder, $3 a month, you become an elf friend of the Shire, $7 a dwarf friend of the Shire, and $9 a month gets you in as one of our women friends of the Shire.
Woo!
Woo! And if you can't support us monetarily, we get it. If you are enjoying the podcast, though, please consider leaving us a rating or review because it really, really helps.
Yeah, it just helps kind of spread our name out there to people who are searching for podcasts along the same vein, you know?
Yeah. And Abby, someone actually listened to us when we asked for this last time. It had been months, but we got another review on Spotify. I don't know who it was, but thank you, whoever it was.
Is it like anonymous or is it like a username?
It was just they only did the stars on Spotify. It's dumb. I know.
I mean, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. And then, since it's been a hot minute, so much world news. Are you freaking ready?
Yes, I am ready.
Denmark overtook Singapore. Slovenia overtook the Czech Republic. Philippines overtook Greece. Ukraine overtook South Africa. Japan overtook Russia, but Russia overtook Puerto Rico. Mexico overtook Nigeria and took Turkeye. I'm sorry. I cannot say that name. I'm so sorry. And Albania was overcome by Iran. And oh my gosh, Hungary came out of nowhere. They were like 68th on our list, and they're all the way up to 56th. Craziness.
Whoa. Binge.
Yes.
Someone went on a binge.
Yes. So thank you, Hungarian listener. And hopefully you keep on climbing. I'll keep my eye out for you.
Well, thank you for teaching me today.
You're welcome. Until next time, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby, and this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast. And we are so glad you joined us on this beautiful day, and we hope you can join us next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for teaching me a day.
Yay!